Go.
Thank you for coming tonight to see the presentation about Sierra's Tots, which the stakeholder, Chelsea Sierra, and myself put together because we have a concern for the rise of childhood obesity in America. It causes us great concern, me as a grandmother and Chelsea as a mother, to see all of these overweight children who are developing health problems. So we're just going to have a quick little presentation about some of the stuff that we've discovered, and we hope that you become informed and educated over the things that we have learned while we did this presentation. Here's a handout with some of the facts that we gathered while we were researching our project. And as you can see on our PowerPoint, it's Sierra's Tots, which is Chelsea Sierra's daycare, and she has 6 little kids that are 3 and under, and she works very hard to endeavor to make sure that they get healthy, well-balanced meals while they're in her care, and that they receive adequate exercise for their age group. And she has also taken to giving cooking lessons to the parents of these young children who do not actually know how to cook homemade meals from scratch, which seems to be one of the causes of childhood obesity. While we were researching this, the project for this purpose was to educate preschool children and their parents on the importance of developing healthy eating habits. Because if you can teach a child, okay, just eat this much and no more, then when they're little, then they will grow up and have that habit, and they will actually start craving the things that are good for them, and they will ask their parents for the things that are good for them. And one of it was to provide our parents with nutritional pamphlets, which Chelsea Sierra graciously passed out to all of her clientele. And she has also offered the cooking classes to the parents who are interested. One of the problems with the not having healthy meals is that children come from 2-parent homes, and the parents literally do not have time to prepare meals. And so many of them just pick their children up from daycare and just drive straight through McDonald's and give their children Happy Meals for supper, and they feel like they fed them because they're not hungry anymore, but it wasn't a good nutritional meal. So parents don't realize that that's not always the best thing for them. Even if you get a McDonald's salad, it's not as good as making a salad at home for your child. And parents don't have the knowledge, the time, or the skill to prepare the home-cooked meals. And parents are not sure how to shop for fresh produce. Chelsea has actually taken some of her young mothers down to the farmer's market and introduced them to a variety of vegetables that are actually grown here in Arkansas. And I read many books about childhood obesity, and I also watched some videos by Jamie Oliver, who is a leading person a leading authority on childhood obesity, and it was very, very informative. And then we passed out questionnaires to the clientele of Sierra's Tots, and we had asked parents many questions about their children. Here is the results from one of our questionnaires. We asked about different things the child doing with the children's eating habits. We asked, do you worry about your child's weight? Are you worried about your child's health? We asked, and 25% of the parents were not concerned with their child's weight, even though some of the children were actually overweight. We asked, are you worried about your child's health? 70% of the parents were not worried about their children's health. We asked, does your child worry about keeping up with their peers? Of course, now Chelsea has young children in her daycare, so they don't really understand if they can't keep up with their peers yet. That will come more when they get into preschool and grade school. And does your child get teased for being overweight? And again, that's more of a preschool question. And do you worry about your child, how much your child weighs? There was only a few parents who actually worried about how much their children weighed. we asked, our second questionnaire, which these are the results from that, we asked, does your child eat fast food regularly? Many of these parents fed their children fast food on a regular basis. We said, do you ever sit down and eat as a family? Which that is imperative that you do when children are little, even as they grow up, because dinner time is family time, and it actually helps you. You don't eat as fast, and you actually eat less if you sit down as a family with your glass of water and eat your meal. Because parents get to model good eating behaviors. Does your family regularly cook? One of the questions we asked was, does your family regularly eat home-cooked meals? Many of them do not know how to cook a meal from start to finish without getting pre-processed food, which pre-processed food it's a high caloric food. And our recommended action for this problem was to actually just, as much as we can as individuals, educate those around us about how to eat healthy, how to encourage your children to exercise, portion control. Portion control is such a big thing, because you'll see little bitty ones sit down and eat. Their parents will get them adult-sized portions. They don't give them children-sized portions, and it takes your mind a little bit for your stomach to say, hey, I'm full, quit eating. And children, if you give them a big plate, they'll just keep eating and eating. So you have to really work on portion control. You have to learn how to develop healthy meal plans. You have to know what you're preparing, when you're preparing it, what dish goes with what protein needs to go with what vegetable, and what carbohydrate, what makes them all blend so that you don't have unproportionate and unhealthy meals. And you get your children to eat healthy snacks instead of processed food. And then one of the other components of this would be to teach your children to exercise. And I know that Chelsea works really hard with her little ones at the daycare to make sure that they all have plenty of aerobic exercise. We applaud you for that, Chelsea. And that's it. And I thank you so much for coming to the presentation, and I hope that you've learned some about obesity in America. Any questions?
I don't think so.
I really appreciate your help, Chelsea.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Good.